What's up guys, it is your boy Ritter from Watch Society. So for context, this is what I've got on today, which is the Sky Dweller in blue dial. This is a recent acquisition that I can't wait to talk to you guys about it in my upcoming video. We're gonna do the whole unboxing experience as well as fill you in of how it happened. How did I land on this watch? Hold on a second. Alright, so this is the new kid on the block right here. This is the Sky Dweller in blue dial. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, I want to talk about it right now. This is something that we're going to talk about in my upcoming video. I'll make sure to cover the full unboxing experience as well as how did this thing happen. I mean, 5 years in the way. I don't want to make it sound like, you know, it just came in when I wanted it. Like I had to wait for this guy for a very, very long time. But I have promised you guys that this video would be dedicated to the Omega. I cannot believe what's in front of my eyes right now. Like honestly, how did this happen, Khalid? We need to do justice to the Omega. And right next to it, we've got the original
14512, which is from 1967, the Calibre.
Calibre 321, the original reference that had gone to the moon. In my previous video, I said we would cover it as well as announce 2 winners for the Artem straps that I picked. So stay tuned and let's get into it. This video. All right, so Khalid, we are live at the same time. If you want to just shout out everyone really quick.
Look guys, because of the history of the Speedmaster, you and I decided not to speak about that watch in a video where we're going to be speaking about other watches.
But there is something fun about it. I don't know if it's the clicky sound or what it is exactly, but
those are the perks of the
it's just nice to hear, right? I don't know why.
Basically, accuracy-wise, you've got this, which is 3000.
Honestly, to be completely honest with you, I care less about, you know, the hertz. It just speaks to you aesthetically, the history as well, and the era that this watch is associated with. For me, honestly, like that's what gives it the ultimate value, because I would have not seen or learned about this had I not had the opportunity to see this watch today. But then again, the ultimate Speedmaster wouldn't do the Moonwatch justice the first time.
And you just said that I don't care about the hertz, but now you need to care about the hertz because we're about to talk about
All right.
Okay, so
does this justify what went to the moon first, I guess? So let's talk about the Calibre 321, the original vintage.
This is reference 145012, 1967 La Mania movement. The ultimate, the great La Mania 321 movement that went to the moon. I cannot emphasize enough about the significance of this movement. Yeah. Not only there's a fundamental difference, Rada, between procuring a movement and putting it in your watch, and a brand working alongside a producer of the movement, hands in hands, and producing a piece. The movement 321, Omega themselves worked together with La Mania to produce this movement.
Of course.
This was discontinued in 1969. And now let's talk numbers.
Right.
So
this is the original reference, first of all, that went to the moon, correct?
This is one of them.
Okay.
So you've got 5 references that had the La Mania movement in it. And these were used in the Apollo missions. Okay. Right? Now, a very important thing here is that you need to understand around 100,000 movements approximately were made from 1959 to 1969.
Sorry, how many movements?
From 1957.
Now, how many movements were made?
100,000.
100,000
So from 1957 to 1969, basically were the years that you had the La Mania movements being put. Don't forget, all those movements didn't only go into the Speedmaster. The first thing that you think about when you see an Omega, the first thing that comes to your mind, Speedmaster. Right? Speedmaster is the first thing that comes to your mind.
Of course.
So those movements were also being used in other watches which had chronograph in Omega.
Correct.
You've got dress watches. You've got some of the other watches that they were using the chronograph in. Those were also La Mania based. So with this being discontinued, a very important question comes to mind. Why did Omega discontinue the Lemania-based movement?
Interesting.
It's
Why?
because of durability.
Durability.
Yeah.
It wasn't as durable, you're saying.
It was. 321 as a movement is so great, and there is a reason for that, which I did explain earlier, is because Omega worked alongside Lemania to make this. Sure. Unlike some of these other brands that sourced these movements and just put it into the case.
Sure.
So there is a very big difference, a fundamental difference, where a brand themselves worked together to achieve a certain product.
Interesting.
And put it in their novelty. There is another misconception where people tend to confuse between the Apollo 11 and the Apollo, the first Apollo mission. Some of them, one of them was in 1971. The 321 was already discontinued by that time. So we're talking about the 321 movement being discontinued in 1969.
Right.
And then the next Calibre came in. So the 1971 did not have the 321 Calibre.
And
but the other ones prior to that did have the 321 Calibre in those Speedmasters.
I got you.
So the other thing also that you see also again in this watch, as I said to you, column wheels were being used as a manual wind. And now they later on switched to cam shifts, if you like, with technology, and that's why you had the 321 being discontinued. But the 321 has come back into production now with the Ed White. And there is one specific variation which is very beautiful, which comes in platinum. It even has a meteorite.
The meteorite dial of subdials. Okay, of course,
which is with
I've seen that one as well.
So again, coming back to doing justice to what Speedmaster is, and going back to those times when the testing were being done. Again, there was a third company also that provided movements, which is called Venus. Breitling extensively used those chronographs.
Venus.
Back in the days. You could find them in the Unitime, in the Top Time, in the Chronomats, the older ones. Later on, unfortunately, they had to close down due to some financial trouble. And Valjoux absorbed their products and followed on from there.
I want to take in some questions as well. So we are here recording the video, but in the same time we are live. So if you guys have any specific areas you would like to understand basically or address in terms of this vintage 321, this is the original vintage, one of the references that had gone to the moon, obviously.
One thing very important about the Lemania movement is obviously that it was produced between 1957 to 1969. Of course, the 5 references that were there during this period of time had the 321 movement, which obviously went on the space missions. This one that we have here is the 145012, which is from 1967. One more thing as well, which is very important, obviously, that we need to take into consideration is that these Lemania movements were made in coordination with Omega, unlike some of the other brands that would source the piece and fit it in the case. In this one, particularly with the 321 Lemania movement, it was done in coordination with Omega, and they worked on the movement hand in hand together. One more thing as well is that the movements that were produced were approximately around 100,000. Movements that were produced from the 321, which were also used on other watches from Omega, some dress watches as well. So the portion of these movements are rare. You don't find them that easily, and that's what makes the 321 caliber so important, so rare, and also, of course, not keeping aside all that, the accuracy on this Lemania 321 movement is impeccable. It is something that chronographs are very much concerned with, which is the accuracy of the watch, because that's the main factor of chronographs. So in coordination with the tachymeter, the accuracy is very, very, very important. But the Omega, the movement, is really something else.
Okay, all right, I hear you. But again, and this is a comment that had come from KO Fitness Studio, basically. Accuracy is not relevant. Okay, so I kind of have to shadow that a little bit, but look at this. I mean, how can you deny the beauty? First of all, let me focus, of this 6263 Daytona. How can you deny the beauty of this 6263 Daytona? I don't know what this guy Khalid was talking about. Maybe he spent too much time with the watches, but I tell you something, man. I mean, there is no denying to this piece. Look at this. The dial, the case, the lug size, the fact that it's a Sigma dial, the combination of the silverish dial with the black sub dials as well, and the fact that this is an unpolished watch. It comes in this condition. I think he's a very lucky person to actually get it basically in this condition. For me, aesthetically speaking, all day, every day, this would be the ultimate Daytona to have as a collector, as a Rolex fanboy as well. But on the other hand, of course, not to neglect the importance of the Speedmaster. Khalid had walked us through a lot of the facts basically that attributes basically the accuracy of this Omega Speedmaster, its heritage, the history as well.
These two are side by side. What would I choose? Difficult question. But my answer would be, I go for the movement, and I really like the Lomania-based 321 in comparison to the Valjoux. You know, obviously the Speedmaster was chosen to go to the moon. There was stringent testing done during the time. As I said, this reference has been there roughly from 1957 to 1969 in comparison to the Valjoux, which was there to 87. You know, the 72B, Calibre 72B. Again, both manual wines, both beautiful piece, both iconic. If I were to use, which watch would I use? If I would go racing, I would use the Speedmaster. Which watch would I choose if I want to keep it for aesthetics and the way it looks? I would go for the Daytona. But functionally, I would keep the 321 personally. Others may have a different opinion, but me, functionally, I would go for the 321.
We have a quick question that had come in, Khalid, from 194 Street. How does one learn more about vintage watches other than Modani books? Another source, and this is just based on my own experiences, shout out Amsterdam Vintage Watches. You can obviously always go head out Amsterdam Vintage Watches. Jasper is the man, right? Jasper has been doing this for the longest time. It's been a family business. So I would just offload all of that to Jasper, and then they will source obviously the right watch with the right condition for you at any given point in time. Khalid Farouk, always a pleasure meeting with you, bro. Thank you so much for your time. Truly appreciate it. I'll link basically Khalid's Instagram handle in the description so you guys can go check him out. That brings us to the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and we'll catch you guys up with more content.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you. Thank you.